Thank you for sharing, Steve. Kristen, I'm going to go back to you. You just started your business less than 6 months ago. What's been the hardest part of starting a business?
That's a really good question. So I knew this going into starting my business that based on my personality, I love a collaborative environment and to have partners that you can lean on and rely on and have a soundboard. So for me, the most challenging part, which is like a double-edged sword, because I knew this going into it, was for me to be going into business as a solo practitioner. It's had its challenges. Luckily, I've built an incredible support team around me that if something comes up, that I know I have people I can reach out to that I trust that are looking out for me. So that's been really amazing to have that, but it is a challenge every single day, especially in my professional experience. I've always worked at firms with multiple partners and managers that you can go to. So just not having a soundboard is a challenge, but luckily with research tools, a support system, trusted mentors that I still reach out to. My mentor is someone that still is so important to me. Mentorship is such a key to success. And it really, in my opinion, can be such a make or break in your career if you have that person that's taken you under their wing and has a vested interest in your success and growth, and they have the capacity to foster that. That is my number one piece of advice to jumpstart your career. So, lack of mentorship might be a challenge for me in my immediate business. But again, I do have my trusted network that I can reach out to. So, and like Steve said, also the constant regulatory changes. There was just a deadline change for California clients. So with that, of course, comes all the challenges of being inundated with phone calls and emails. Like, what does this mean? What can we do? So just an ever-changing landscape can also be a challenge.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I would say that's definitely a scary decision when you're, used to one thing and then, kind of taking that risk and going out on your own. But they do say high risk, high reward. So
Yes.
I know it's got to be nice to, kind of set your own schedule and things like that. So
Yeah, the freedom has been nice.
definitely. So Ethan, well, and Steve, you also worked at a Big Four accounting firm, but Ethan, you, I think, are the only one on the panel that made that transition from public accounting into industry. Can you tell me a little bit about what influenced that decision? And, if you were comparing the two, maybe you can give the mentees a couple pros and cons of each.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and yeah, I mean, I'll just, the truth of the matter is, this was going into, 2017 tax act that came through. Everybody was scrambling, as everybody on this call is probably aware, right? That's just where I was focused on is the provision side of things in New York, and for all these large banks that we were working through, whether it was on the audit side or on the provision prep side for the reporting, it was I think about 4 months of a ton of hours a week, which, like I said, that was not the case for everybody, but just in my sector, we were hit hard with planning needs, reporting needs. Business is great for that, but frankly, I was getting a bit burned out. And so just from where I was at in public, I could have stayed. Unfortunately, it just a bit snowballed into where I was like, okay, let's look at some other opportunities. And like I said, some people may go to another firm or another team to find, what they're looking for there. I was looking more, I wasn't closed off to public, but at that point, just with the clients and things like that, it was, the hours were getting a bit crazy for me. So I found this job down in Epicor. At the time I was a manager, and actually I entered, it was more of an M&A specific role, like mergers and acquisitions, special projects, forecasting, stuff like that. So it was a little bit new to me, who was more in your, when you think about when you go into a Big Four, they kind of silo you, but we called it Fed Tax at the time. They've changed the name probably 30 different times at each firm. My fiance also works for public accounting, so I hear all the names too. You know, I did provision and tax return compliance, and now I'm doing something a little different, right? I was doing something in a new atmosphere and a new job. So I got in when I came in. It was a bit different in terms of who you call them customers, right? When you're in public, you have clients, those are your customers. We'll use the terms customers still, but those customers change into our, not only our lenders, but also your internal, customers, which would be your, CAO, your CFO, your CEO, your executive leadership team. They need to make their decisions based on things happening. And we also cash taxes and things like that. That is, when they're paying money, it's noted, right? So they need to know what they expect to, cash planning, what they expect to pay, or what they're reporting on their 10Ks and Qs. So that's how that changed. And also the diversity of work as well. I thought I was a little nervous about not having, multiple clients and not seeing a multitude of different issues, and also learning a ton on those issues, right? So that's one of the biggest things for me that I was trying to make the decision on was, you just learn so much in public. You just see so much from different areas and different clients. But I will say I was pleasantly surprised. Our company, this isn't every company, but I think most companies that are trying to succeed in today's world are always looking for opportunities. Essentially opportunities out there in the market or within in terms of internal planning and things like that. So like I said, still never a dull day, but the diversity of work changes a bit in terms of now you're on this back end, right? And you're trying to help your own company improve in terms of their processes, also in terms of cash tax planning, or, when we're talking about M&A, we're very acquisitive. That's a big factor in terms of taxes, right? So that was a good learning opportunity, and working with some of our leaders in the company as well directly on that. I'm now since back more into the provision side. I'm senior manager of the reporting as well. So still have a bit of a hand in M&A, but it's been different types of work, but the work-life balance is better. I did get a little bump in pay, but I think that's typical if you're going from one job to another, right? So I wouldn't say it's anything out of like standard if I went to another public accounting firm or anything like that. But those are some of the differences and some of the decisions that went into me making the move.